Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your booty. Oh, hi. Yeah. Shh. So we are currently at the halfway point of Script Frenzy, and I really do hope that everything is going really well for everyone who's taking part. Now, when John Green, who you all should know by the way, goes to a library or something to give a talk, people will often ask him, like, "Oh my god, why don't you teach people how to write?" And John will reply, "I don't think I know anything about writing, but I know a lot about reading." Now, I cannot explain what John means by this because he might not mean anything by this, but as a student of film and literature, I have my own angle on what this means. Now, firstly, I need to explain deconstruction, which is something I do as a student of literature and film. Let's take, for example, Hamlet's monologue, one of the most famous pieces of writing in the world, and everyone knows the first line, to be or not to be. Now, as a literature student, I will deconstruct that and I will look at the significance of Hamlet asking to be. That is an extremely powerful statement, in that he's not saying to live or not to live. He's not saying to exist or not to exist. He's saying to be or not to be, and as a literature student I know the many implications and complexities of that phrasing. Or let's take, for example, Holden's red hunting cap in The Catcher in the Rye. Now, as a literature student, I can look at this and say, oh, well, that is a security blanket, it's got links to the colour of his brother's hair, etc, etc, etc. Finally, to use an example from a film, let's take the wonderful French film The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. The image of the diving bell, which is a titular image, is that the main character is bound within this shell from which he cannot move. His body has just become a dead weight to him, and that as an image has several complexities in and of itself. So as you can see, as a film and lit student, I can obviously get a lot more out of a script or a novel or a poem because of my education and because I've been sort of trained to read those things into it. So now to explain how deconstruction is involved in my writing. So as writers, we aim to construct a piece of writing, be it a script or a novel or a poem. Now, there are two kinds of construction. Construction in the first sense is very functional. It's very bricks and mortar. I am putting this brick with this brick and this brick and this brick, and I am building something structural, something functional. It's there to fulfill one purpose. No one thinks about it too greatly. Now, on the other hand, we have literary construction, which is the opposite of literary deconstruction, in that we are still putting together bricks in a certain configuration. However, we are looking at each brick and thinking, what does this brick mean? How is this brick used? How is this brick working with the other bricks? And we are also thinking, what is the best kind of mortar to hold it together? You like my overuse of a single metaphor, don't you? So I hope that's explained what my interpretation of I know nothing about writing, but I know a lot about reading means. Knowing a lot about reading means that we can take deconstruction and turn it into construction. So thank you very much for watching, Cait. I will see you tomorrow, and up until that point, stay groovy.